Dear Mr. President Donald Trump, this is Dr. Hooshang Amirahmadi, an American of Iranian origin. I'm a distinguished service professor at Rutgers University and president of the American Iranian Council. With many distinguished Americans, including secretaries, senators, and ambassadors, for over 2 decades, the Council has tried to mend relations between the United States and Iran. We had many breakthroughs, but we failed to normalize relations because the religious leadership in Tehran torpedoed what we tried to do, continuing with its misbehavior. Mr. President, on 2nd of January 2020, you ordered the assassination of Major General Qasem Soleimani of Iran. In the following days, millions of people poured into the streets of Iran, mourning the general, paying respect. The Islamic Republic has done its best to convince the world community and Iranians that they were there in the streets to support the regime. Not true. They were there for their soldier. Mr. President, before the death of Qasem Soleimani, the Islamic Republic was in serious trouble. It was in its way out. Just this last November, the regime had to kill 1,500 Iranians and imprison 10,000 more to win a battle on the streets of Iran against the Iranian people. We were expecting the people return in millions in the months ahead to finish the job. The regime was already in trouble to engineer a regular parliamentary elections in Iran, which is due in 2 months. The regime is and was in trouble in Lebanon and Iraq, even among Shia population for its interventions. And of course, the regime is in trouble with the West, including the United States. But the Islamic Republic is trying to change the discourse in its favor, trying to let the people forget that there was a killing, to encourage them to join the election, telling the Shias that it's now a victim, and also trying to convince even your allies that it is on the side of the victim here. But we will not let the regime change the discourse. The Iranian regime is responsible for its misbehavior, particularly for destroying the life of the Iranian people. But I tell you, Mr. President, and you know it well, that this regime is a master in fooling people and world community. I'm just concerned. Mr. President, you made a bad situation even worse by saying in a tweet that your administration has prepared 52 sites, among them some cultural sites, to destroy if the Islamic Republic was to attack back, to take revenge. Mr. President, the Islamic Republic just attacked the United States bases in Iraq. But please make sure that you do not deliver on your promise or on your words about the cultural sites. I am very concerned. The Iranians are nationalistic and they love their pre-Islamic culture. Mr. President, let me tell you why I am concerned. 40 years ago, when the Islamic Republic established itself in Tehran and took American hostage, their very first act was to attack the Iranian cultural sites, the pre-Islamic cultural sites, to destroy them. The Iranian people were able to defend those sites, and the regime failed. But the urge is there, Mr. President, and I'm very concerned that your statement may galvanize that urge again. This regime is looking for a pretext. I promise you, if you were to hit any site, cultural site, in Iran, the regime will destroy tens more immediately, and it will blame the United States for the destruction. And it's going to have to be tough, if not impossible, to convince the Iranian people that you did not do it. After all, you have said it. So, Mr. President, please make sure that you correct that statement. I know Secretary Pompeo is doing his best, but the Iranian people would have to hear from you, because you told the whole community that's what you wanted to do. But, Mr. President, let me tell you about another concern I have. Iran has just attacked your bases, and you have said that you're going to respond. Mr. President, please do respond proportionally if you have to. Do not engage this regime in a full-scale war. The Islamic Republic for a long time have been doing its best to engage the United States in a war. You know that well, in Persian Gulf, in Saudi Arabia, elsewhere. So far it has failed, but I'm afraid that it's going to succeed. Mr. President, this regime, if engaged the United States in a war, it will prolong its life, even if it will destroy the country. If the Islamic Republic was to fail to engage you in a full-scale war, I could promise you it will be soon overthrown by the Iranian people. They really wanted to get rid of this regime, this mullahs. So, Mr. President, be very careful in engaging the Islamic Republic in a conflict. Please, if you have to, be measured, proportional, and make sure that you control the process. God forbid if they take control and engage you in a full-scale war. That's a trap. They have had it for you for a long time. So be careful, Mr. President. I don't make policies for you. I'm an American citizen, an expert on Iran, and a good expert on Iran. Many of the people in your administration and previous administration know me well. I say what I believe in, and I know, and I say what it is. Mr. President, let me tell you the last thing I wanted to say. Iranians are among the very few people in the region, in the Middle East, that still have a long and big heart for Americans. They really have a big heart for America. Please let it be. A war, a full-scale war, a destructive war between US and Iran will destroy that heart for decades, if not centuries. So be careful. Do not engage this regime in a full-scale war. If I was you, I would sit back, watch this regime gradually die, and the Iranian people to overthrow it. And they will. No question whatsoever. And very soon. That's a promise. God bless America.